This is the greatest cryptocurrency bull run of all time.
This is the greatest cryptocurrency bull run of all time. Yeah.
And that's a big statement, and maybe not all of you agree with us, but by the end of this conversation, I think there'll be a light bulb moment in your head.
Today we share with you our keynote at the RareEvo crypto conference, explaining every single reason why cryptocurrency may be about to have one of the biggest bull runs ever in 2025.
And of course, the big one
is
watch today's whole video, because we'll also talk altcoins with big potential. Click the like button right now and let's start.
And that's not to say that anything can't happen with Bitcoin. Bitcoin could crash by 40% tomorrow. That would be a speed bump.
That would be a buying opportunity.
That's not to say that we can't hit a global recession, at the beginning of next year, which would be an even bigger speed bump.
It would be an even bigger buying opportunity.
But with all these speed bumps, our belief is that this road is only headed in one direction, and by the end of this conversation, I think you'll understand why. And maybe, Aaron, it's best if we explain who we are and where we come from when we have this maybe polarizing point of view.
This is the greatest crypto bull run of all time, but when we started back in the very beginning of 2018, it didn't feel like that. We are Aaron Arnold and Austin Arnold of Altcoin Daily. We speak to millions of people online about cryptocurrency, and we started in the very beginning of 2018, maybe the worst time ever to start a cryptocurrency YouTube channel, because as we were trying to galvanize an audience in crypto, the deep 3-year bear market was just beginning and people were leaving in droves. But we made it through. Since then we've had some major success, having on many legends on the channel like Michael Saylor,
filmmaker Spike Lee,
rock star Gene Simmons,
Mark Cuban,
and many others.
The man, the legend?
The man, the legend himself, Charles Hoskinson, has been on as well.
But I think the point is that when we are making these statements, our point of view is not from a coder's point of view or even traditional finance. It's just from everyday guys talking to the everyman. So with that, let's get into it. Let's talk about, starting with Bitcoin maybe, Bitcoin, how we got here today.
So this is the greatest crypto bull run of all time. And Bitcoin, like the internet, its growth is all about network effects. And like the internet, as more users onboard onto the network grows in utility and value, causing more users to onboard onto the network. This positive feedback loop, which we're all familiar with, the internet, is exactly what's causing Bitcoin and crypto to blow up today. So if Bitcoin and crypto is just like the internet, that would be a major success, major growth. However, I'm here to tell you today that there's 2 big reasons why Bitcoin's growth is bigger than the internet itself. The first reason is because the internet in the 90s and 2000s, that growth was hindered by the lack of digital rails itself. So we all had to go from analog to digital in the 90s and 2000s, and it had built out that way. Bitcoin, it's not like that. It uses the rails of the internet itself, and it's spreading like wildfire. So that chart you see in front of you is Bitcoin's 10 years compared to the internet's first 10 years, starting in 1992. And you can see, even just in the first 10 years, Bitcoin has grown a lot harder and farther, faster, more velocity. The other big reason why Bitcoin is better and bigger than the internet itself is because, now here's the thing, the internet made a lot of millionaires. There was a lot of value accrued in the 90s and 2000s for people who invested in the internet boom. The only problem with that wealth generation was primarily confined to accredited investors in the US. Bitcoin, crypto, doesn't have that problem.
It's much bigger.
People in China are buying the same Bitcoin network that people in Russia are buying, that people in America are buying. There are kids in Bangladesh buying coins. And I think it was Vitalik who actually said this first. regarding the wealth generation in crypto, it's almost like if you were an early adopter in the internet in the 90s or 80s or 2000s, if you would have bought one of the first Apple computers or Microsoft computers, if you would have got a little piece of stock from the company when you bought that computer, and it wasn't worth a lot then, but if you still had it today, that'd be worth a lot of money. And so it's all about the network effect.
Aaron, let's bring it in. Okay? Now, Bitcoin is not a child. Bitcoin's definitely not an adult. It's 15 years young.
15 years legend. So yeah, here's the thing. When you talk to most people outside of this conference, outside of the crypto community, they're probably still thinking Bitcoin, it's nascent, it's new, it's untested. That's not the case at all. Maybe in Bitcoin's first 10 years, it was like that. It was fragile. It was not known. It was not robust. Today, at 15 years, Bitcoin is battle-tested, battle-hardened, robust. It's very known. And here's the thing. If you talk to anybody in this room and you ask about Bitcoin, they probably go, well, Bitcoin's old news. You know, Bitcoin, it's already had 15 great years. It's, not much to talk about. And, the point is with this slide is Bitcoin is just now a teenager, and it's got a lot of upside to go, and it's got a lot of battle-testedness behind it.
And imagine somebody coming to you, yes, you, at 15 years old, and saying, you've peaked, you're done, that trend is behind us. No, Bitcoin's only 15 years old. The best, I believe, is yet to come. And zooming in on today, we've talked about the history. I believe Bitcoin today, around $60,000, almost completely de-risked when it was at the exact same price 3-4 years ago in 2021.
Bitcoin was at the exact same price 3-4 years ago that we are today.
But what's changed? Because the price is the same, but number one, when I say de-risked, it's now regulated. That was not the case 3 years ago. It's offered by BlackRock, Fidelity, Charles Schwab. Actually, Bitcoin and Ethereum are now able to be offered by these big institutional players. That's completely different. Also, the worst actors, the bad actors in the space, are now gone. Last time Bitcoin was at 60,000, FTX was the second largest crypto exchange by trading volume. They're now collapsed. Binance, the first largest trading exchange by trading volume, has essentially been taken over by the US government. So the point is that now the largest crypto exchanges are American. The majority, at least 50% of the trading volume flows through America. And I would even say Bitcoin mining, maybe compared to 5 years ago, over 50% of the Bitcoin mining takes place by American companies. That lessens the ambiguity for big institutional, big money players. It makes it easier to come into the market. And the other big thing, and this is most important to me, is the Bitcoin halving. Last time we had a Bitcoin halving in 2020, Bitcoin rallied to over $60,000. We have since had an additional halving. It just happened, a second supply shock, but we have not really seen the second price impact of that supply shock yet. So prices are the same, in my opinion. Fundamentals are totally different. But all that, I would say, all that is the case why Bitcoin is where we are today. That stuff, to be fair, has already happened. So are we done?
Are we done? Now, here's the thing, Austin. You brought up a great point saying this industry as a whole around the world has really cleaned up. And now we're seeing Wall Street getting in. BlackRock, Bitcoin ETFs in general, the most successful in Wall Street history. BlackRock itself just surpassed 20 billion in inflows, people buying ETFs. And a lot of times on our channel or at this conference, people ask, well, isn't that a narrative that's in our past? Hasn't that already happened? It's already been the most successful ETFs in history. And I would say that's the wrong way to think about it. Like I said earlier, Bitcoin's a teenager. It's got his whole adult life to go. This is the way I think about it. BlackRock, Fidelity, Charles.
RareEvo 2025 tickets are on sale now. Save big. General admission passes are discounted to $250, and VIP passes are only $800. Join us August 7th through 9th, 2025 at Caesars Palace, Las Vegas. Hurry, only 30 days left to save. Visit rareevo.io and buy your tickets now.
Schwab, they're not getting in to crypto to make a bunch of money in 2024 and 2025 and get out. They're getting in to make a bunch of money in a regulated way throughout the 2020 decade, throughout the 2030 decade, throughout the next several decades. And applause break.
Yes.
And we are just starting to see the beginnings of Wall Street coming in. If the fact is Wall Street as a catalyst is not behind us, wirehouses are just getting turned on. Morgan Stanley.
This just happened. This literally just happened.
Morgan Stanley has finally allowed their 15,000 advisors across the country to start solicited sales of Bitcoin through the ETF, meaning their advisors can finally reach out to their clients. And their clients, well, they manage 1.5 trillion assets under management. All their clients hold that, and they can finally reach out to those clients and say, hey, you should buy Bitcoin. You should buy Bitcoin through us. These are the reasons I think you should buy Bitcoin. And Wall Street is a selling machine. Morgan Stanley just turned that on. We're going to see Bank of America's Merrill Lynch do this. We're going to see UBS do this. We're going to see Wells Fargo do this. And Wall Street is a selling machine. So are we done yet? No, this is the greatest crypto bull run of all time.
Now,
I think we got a different one.
I think I would venture to say that crypto is so much more than Bitcoin. I think everybody in this room knows that. The revolution is so much more than Bitcoin. And you'll see a bunch of trends that are hot this cycle on the screen. I think our point today with you is we're now seeing product market fit in these trends, in these other cryptocurrencies, where in the past it was often just garbage. And they're still garbage today. But we're seeing real revolution in cryptos in these narratives. For example, artificial intelligence. Nobody says artificial intelligence has peaked. Nobody says that's done. No, we understand that's going to be here 10 years, much longer. And when we ask ourselves, how does cryptocurrency fit in? And we've mentioned this before on the channel. If nothing else, it keeps us from repeating the same mistakes of the past, where all the power, all the data flowed to big tech, these big players, and they controlled us. If nothing else, cryptocurrency allows a distributed future where the people are in control instead of these big centralized players. That's just one part of the revolution.
Yeah, and what we're saying here today is any one of these narratives, probably many of these narratives, they could be even bigger than what Bitcoin did in its first 15 years. The Bitcoin ETF's most successful in history. I'm bullish on Bitcoin, not to take away from that. But you know what really gets particularly Wall Street investors excited? Digital gold's okay, but they want to invest in DeFi. They want to invest in the stablecoin market, AI, DePIN, RWAs, L2s, gaming, and that's what's coming. So for instance, with gaming specifically, crypto and gaming are very good together because it takes just one great game to onboard millions of people into crypto. And those are very sticky crypto holders who understand the value of digital assets, who understand that stuff.
They're paying for it anyway. They just don't own them.
And these gamers, crypto gamers coming in, they don't care if Bitcoin's up or down. They don't care if the Fed is printing or what the Fed is doing. They're more sticky and they're there for a great game.
And our point is that revolution has not happened yet. The DePIN revolution, decentralized physical infrastructure networks, that has not happened yet. I mean, that is if you have a wireless telecom provider, why should these centralized entities, Verizon, who's always getting my bill wrong, why should they, have all the power? Why can't that be distributed? GPU compute, that's a big one. That's an easy distributed revolution that is coming. RWA, this one's a no-brainer. Real world assets, that's tokenizing real world assets, bringing them on chain, whether that be luxury goods, deeds to a house. This revolution is just getting started. And let's get a little more specific. Who here likes altcoins? Wow.
Yeah.
Again, our point here is we're now seeing product market fit with these protocols that we didn't see in past years.
Yeah, it used to be big promises. We'll eventually do this. Well, now we have real altcoin protocols doing real things, and we'll just go through a couple. Chainlink, working with not only Swift, the biggest financial transactions manager in the world, connecting all the banks. Not only is Chainlink working with Swift, they're working with the Depository Trust Clearinghouse. They are the #1 settler of securities in America and around the world, do 3 quadrillion in volume, 20 million messages per year. And it's not that, the Depository Trust Clearinghouse or Swift might be working with Chainlink. They are working with Chainlink, and they're scaling that up.
Solana, currently integrated with Shopify, one of the largest online merchants in the world.
Yeah, 10% of all e-commerce in America goes through Shopify, and they're using Solana Rails for their stablecoin payment.
Also, Solana integrated with Visa for blockchain payments as a settlement. That's huge.
Also PayPal. For PayPal's stablecoin, they're using Solana. In addition, we have things like, borrowing and lending. Compound's a good example.
The product market fit is here.
And of course, the big one is Cardano itself. Cardano doing real things. The Dubai Police Department working with Cardano Tech to handle their criminal investigation data aggregating, specifically with the bullets. And also, apparently, US states have reached out to the Cardano Foundation to ask them, how can we incorporate Cardano Tech to make voting more fair?
Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, I would say. Things could go wrong. There is no opportunity without risk, and nothing is for certain. When somebody asks me what could go wrong, I would honestly tell them that, and the probability of this, let's just say for Bitcoin specifically, it's incredibly small, but a non-zero chance that maybe there's a bug implemented in an upgrade in a code. Now, from what we know, Bitcoin is an open, transparent network. It's public code. The smartest minds have already looked at it, picked through it, and are working on it. So again, very small, minute chance.
A bug could happen. Here's the thing, guys. We're always going to keep it real with you. That's what we do on our YouTube channel. We always keep it real, and we're going to keep it real with you today because we're incredibly bullish on the future. I think it's likely, but it's not a sure thing. So a bug could happen. World War III could break out. That would be unideal for the price of risk assets.
I thought that would help Bitcoin.
You know what? Bitcoin's not going away. I think eventually Bitcoin would shine through, but it's not good for Bitcoin in the short term if World War III breaks out.
But really, the biggest thing that could severely slow down this bull run is, in my opinion, if governments and central banks around the world globally started to become fiscally responsible. Now, everything we're seeing, these central banks around the world are just becoming more irresponsible, printing much more money much quicker. The debt is out of control. How do we solve that? But if for some reason governments and central banks started becoming fiscally responsible, it would really sort of lessen the need for Bitcoin if they're acting correctly.
And in the same way, governments being responsible might, lessen the value prop of Bitcoin. These, Silicon Valley, the 6 media companies that control everything, all these big businesses, if they, start getting more decentralized, more permissionless, to me, that would be, the use case of crypto is less certain if they start doing that. Now, that's not what we're seeing. Silicon Valley, the media, they continue to get more permissioned, more private, more centralized, and that makes me bullish on open protocols in crypto.
Let's bring this home. Guys, hell of a conference, hell of a discussion. In summation, it is not the short game, it is the long game. The innovations happening today aren't finished in 1 year, 2 years from now. It is truly something I feel really lucky to be a part of. A huge opportunity and revolution that is happening before our eyes. Our kids don't get to be part of this. We're here now, learning every day.
Like I said, this is going to be bigger than the internet boom, and wealth accrual is going to happen in a more distributed way for people who are involved. But that means you have to stay involved. The famous Wall Street trading saying, it's not timing the market, it's time in the market. So stick with it. This is the greatest crypto bull run of all time. My name's Aaron. This is Austin, Altcoin Daily. See you after the show.
Thank you, guys.